Nation, we are back. Let's get it. Salute to Raider Nation. We are back. I am one of your hosts, Graphk Raider. I am here with my brother, Sanjit T. Man, how we feeling, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Hopefully this one works out.
I know, right? We're going to try this again. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history. If you guys can, make sure you guys get those likes up on both channels. Make sure you guys subscribe to both channels. It helps us remain in the algorithm and all that good stuff. Make sure in the chat you guys let us know we're good as well. We restarted everything, the routers, restarted the internet, the computer, everything. So let us know how we're sounding and how we're looking here in the chat, man. Let's get back to what we were talking about, though. We talked about the Raiders moving on from Carter Bradley, that opening up one spot. We talked about potentially adding another corner, right? You mentioned Stephon Gilmore. We've talked about him a ton as well. Mike Hilton is another interesting guy. He's probably the best nickel corner left on the market, Sanjit, at this point. Have you heard anything about Asante Samuel Jr.? Do you think it's the injury, that the reason why he's still available? Because he's only 25 or 26, and he would be a great asset to add to that defense as well. But, I mean, what's your thoughts on potentially a Mike Hilton? And once again, Asante Samuel, I think he took a few visits and it just didn't work out. I think once again, it's the injury.
Yeah. I don't 100% know exactly what the holdup with him is. He was really, really good, I think, his first year. And he was okay second year, but he kind of started to fall off a little bit.
Yeah.
And I forget who the coach was that was with the Chargers before Harbaugh. I forget his name. But
Brandon Staley.
Yeah, he ran a good defensive scheme, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if he was more of a product of the scheme, because what was he, like a 7th round pick?
Yeah, he was a late rounder, I believe.
Yeah, he might not have. He definitely wasn't like a first round pick, right? He may not have even been I don't know, but
I'm looking right now. I want to make sure because I don't want to put any smut on his name. But let me see. He was a 2nd round pick.
He's a 2nd. That's what there. Talent's definitely there, but being a 2nd round pick, it didn't work out with the Chargers, right? They're obviously not bringing him back.
Yeah,
and he wasn't one of the priority free agents, right? Like Nate Hobbs and Trayvon Merrick. These guys were priority free agents.
Mm-hmm.
So there definitely has to be something there, right? Maybe it is injury, right? Maybe he's hasn't checked the boxes of being able to pass those physicals. But those are the type of players you want, right? Like he was really good that first year. He kind of fell off a little bit after that, but
he's also 5'10". Like I don't know what Pete Carroll. I don't know if that would work with what he's trying to do defensively,
right?
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's not every corner that Pete Carroll brings in is not going to be 6'4",
right,
6'5". But I just don't know if he fits what they're trying to do. I don't know. But Mike Hilton is an interesting one. He's 31 years old. He is one of the better nickel corners, especially at this point in the game, this late, over 30 in the NFL. Why do you think he's still available? Because he looked really good out there. That Cincinnati defense was bad, but he performed really well for him. Jermaine Pratt is over here with the Raiders now, former teammate. I can see the connection there. But, I mean, do you think that they're just good with running with what we have? I'm hearing good things about Darnay Holmes thus far. We just talked about Harper before the last show just crashed out. They love him in the slot as well. And then once again, a bunch of different looks in those nickel packages with Palomau and Chin. But do you think that they just run with what we have right now? And do you think we look elsewhere? Or what's your take on that?
I do think we're going to run mostly with what we have, but when we signed Jermaine Pratt, I think we also brought in a corner right on a visit.
Yeah. Shaq Griffin.
Right. So to me, if you're bringing in a corner on a visit, that means you have interest in signing a corner. Maybe you're not exactly happy with what that unit has kind of shown. Like we're not bringing in quarterbacks and running backs and tight ends, right? We're not bringing those players in for visits. And I know visits don't obviously always work out. And sometimes, you might feel like, hey, Griffin's a really, really skilled player, so we're going to bring him in anyways. But the fact that they brought him in, I feel like corner is the one position that the Raiders – probably feel like we got to get better at. And then, you and I analyze football. We know looking at this roster, like if there's one position where I'm not sure with, it's the secondary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't really have like a proven corner. And again, proven's kind of an odd word, right? Because, week one, someone could easily be, the next one, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
But it has to be a corner if we're going to bring someone in, right?
Yeah. The one thing that was interesting with that Shaq Griffin visit, though, was the Pete Carroll connection, Seattle. And he ended up going back to Seattle to play for his former team. But it looks as though they're looking for some help on the boundary. Sanjit, this is why all the talk about Mike Hilton and all these other guys, I'm like, I don't know if they're really looking for slot help at this point because Shaq Griffin is essentially a boundary corner. Right. So I can see them when we talked about Stephon Gilmore being the veteran guy that can come in and provide some guidance for all these young guys. I mean, think about it. All these guys outside of Stokes essentially are on rookie deals. Deacon, rookie deal. Jacorian, rookie deal. We got Darian Porter, who I'm hearing great things about, rookie deal. And then Stokes is on a 1-year prove it. And then you got a UDFA in Mello Dotson, who may not even make this roster. I'm a major fan of him. I hope he does. But maybe we do need that proven commodity in that room. And Shaq Griffin is a guy, the former Pro Bowler. It made a ton of sense. I'm actually shocked. I didn't hear anything behind the scenes. Did you hear anything, any reasoning behind why he left Vegas without a deal? I don't know. I have
no idea, honestly. Maybe he just chose like, hey, I want to just kind of go back to this team as opposed to coming to the Raiders. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting training camp because we're going to find out, right? The team's going to find out like, hey, we need this position or we need this position. Yeah. And Pete Carroll's not coaching for another 10 years, right? And I feel like sometimes people overlook that. Like, this guy's only going to be here for 3 to 4 years, and then he's probably going to retire.
Yeah. I mean, 3 years, 4 years tops. And I think the 4th year on the deal is a team option, I believe.
Yeah. It's team option, coach option. I think it's team, though. Pretty sure. It's definitely an option, though.
Well, we'll see what they do with this last roster spot. Once again, there's not a ton of talent still available in the streets and free agency. There are some interesting names, you guys. We talked about them all. Hilton, Gilmore. On the last show, the last live stream, we talked about Jadeveon Clowney, Von Miller. We can potentially use some extra edge help. I'm hoping that one of these young guys step up, though. I'm hoping that Ja Joyner out of Minnesota, the UDFA, can make this roster and add some value. What's your take on Snowden at this point? Because once again, we talked about it. Max number 1, Kuntz number 2, Tyrie Wilson number 3, and he can kind of interchange the interior of the defensive line and play a ton on the boundary as well. But who is your guy on this existing roster right now? Who is your 4th edge rusher?
Yeah, I like Snowden, right? I personally like him. He's only 27 years old, so he hasn't technically stopped developing. And then even last year, he's pretty solid for the Raiders, right? When he was asked to step in, he was pretty solid. Mm-hmm. Development's a real thing, especially when you're not playing 500, 600 snaps every single season. Yeah. I personally really like what Snowden has shown us up to this point. Mm-hmm. If he's our 4th edge player, which that's what it looks like he is right now, I'd be perfectly fine with it. I think it's a really, really solid 4th player to have because especially that he's developing, right? He's getting better. Yeah. You mentioned Ja Joyner out of Minnesota. He's another guy that I personally really, really like. Mm-hmm. Minnesota, man, those there's a coach over there. I don't know who it is, but someone's teaching those guys how to pass rush properly. And Joyner definitely learned a little bit about that pass rush. So he's a guy to kind of keep an eye on this season. If there's one guy that I think can make the roster that's a UDFA, he's the guy. Okay. Right? I really do think that with him. Yeah.
I agree with you. I think if you're going to go UDFA, it's either him or Mello Dotson. Mello was a ball hawk in college. This guy, see ball, go get ball. You can't teach those instincts that Mello Dotson has. But I agree with you. Ja Joyner, the skill set, the measurables, I definitely believe. And we got a few other interesting edge rushers on this roster as well. Some young guys, Andre Carter, Jafari Harvey, the UDFA that I love watching his tape. I thought that he was tremendous at the college level. But once again, UDFA, there's only so many guys that can actually potentially crack this 53-man roster, right? So, but I would definitely take a look at an edge rusher right now, even with training camp this week. Look, man, I think we can use some help there because essentially, I mean, Sanjit, Max coming off of 2 injuries last year, right? I mean, Malcolm Coombs coming off a devastating knee injury. Tyrie, we're hoping he can turn that corner in year 3. I think we can use some more help there, but regardless, we'll kind of see where this thing plays out here soon. Give me some camp battles that you're really excited to see because everybody's talking about this running back group, right? We already know who's going to be number 1. It's Ashton Genty. Raheem Mostert right now is the veteran number 2 guy on this roster. He has familiarity with Chip Kelly from his time with the Niners. He played a season under him. 2 years ago in Miami, he played out of his mind where he led the league in touchdowns. I believe it was like 2021. I think it was like 18 on the ground and like 3 in the air. That battle between Sincere McCormick, Zamir White, and Dylan Laube, like, give me your take on that. Who was the guy? I mean, first of all, how many do we carry? Do we carry 4? And if so, who are your 4 guys? And who's the odd man out right there?
Yeah, I think definitely 4. I think 4 is going to make the most sense. I think Zamir White's out, right? I'd be shocked if he's back with the Raiders. Sincere McCormick, he showed upside last year before he got hurt.
Definitely.
He looked really, really good. And again, developing, right? So it's always a part of, especially guys that are like later round picks, guys that may have already swapped teams, right? Those guys are all about, like, can they develop into something? McCormick had his opportunity last year. He looked pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
So if it's up to me, I think it's going to be Genty, Mostert, McCormick, and then I think Laube ends up staying with the Raiders as well. Mostly because I think he provides values within like special teams.
Yeah.
It's not just like returning punch or kicks, right? This guy can cover, right?
Yeah.
Run down, make tackles.
Yeah.
And all that has value. And then that doesn't include, can he develop into a potential good running back or a playmaker, which I think that could potentially happen this season as well, right? Year 2, he's going to be more comfortable. Yeah. We'll see what he can kind of, develop into as well for the Raiders.
He's excited behind the scenes, Sanjit. I've spoken to him numerous times. He'll be on the show here very soon again. Hammer was just at his camp in New York today, so we talked to Dylan. Dylan is excited. He said that Chip Kelly and these guys have a plan for him. We shall see how it looks in training camp. But I am with you every step of the way. I think that Zeus is the odd man out. I think Dylan provides way too much versatility, being able to be that third down, back that can provide some help in the passing game. And once again, special teams. I think him and Tommy Malot are going to be those guys to kind of battle it out for that kick and punt return, which is going to be fun. What's your thoughts on Tommy Malot at this point? Because from what I'm hearing, he's pretty much just kind of relegated to the special teams. Like they're still trying to find some balance there on the offensive side of the ball, where they're converting him to wide receiver from quarterback. All he did was win, at the college level. Do you think that he finds his way like in that wide receiver room, or do you think he's essentially a special teams guy?
I think he's mostly special teams. You never say never. You never know what a guy could potentially develop into. But I just don't think Malot's a guy that's going to, whose spot is he going to take over, and then who does he play ahead of? Yeah. As a slot wide receiver, I just don't think that type of wide receiver has a lot of value. Right? Like Hunter Renfrow, for example, is kind of like what they say Malot's supposed to be. There's just not a lot of value in those guys, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting cut and brought back to the practice squad. Like, I would not be surprised because we can't carry every single draft pick. No, it's not going to happen, right? Some of these guys are going to get cut, and then they'll have to be brought back. Which guy is it though? We'll see what ends up happening with that, right? Yeah. But I'm not super high on him, to be honest. I do think he could be like a wild card quarterback, similar to like Taysom Hill. Yeah, and that would be his best value, right? Is let him take a snap and run. Yeah, take a second snap, throw the ball, take a third snap. Maybe it's like an end around, right? And let him do that 5-6 times a game eventually down the line. And
I would love it.
Role.
Yeah,
right. I don't know. It's an interesting player for sure. Right? Yeah. We haven't even really seen him, so we don't know. Right?
We haven't seen him. I know Spy Tech was really high on him. During the process of the draft, they were trying to keep it really mum on that situation because they didn't want other teams to find out who this kid was. But definitely can see some wildcat formation. Definitely can see him lined up in the backfield. They can do all kind of different things with Tommy Malot. I'm excited to see what are some camp battles that you're really excited to see here, because we talked about the linebacking group on the stream before it crashed out. But that's an interesting room. A ton of veterans and then a few youth movement guys in the building. I think that's an interesting battle. Who do you think potentially wins those spots, and who's the odd man out at the linebacker position?
Yeah, the linebacker position's really interesting. So Jermaine Pratt, I think, is our best linebacker.
Yes, I agree.
Day one starter, best linebacker we have.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jalen Smith gets cut. Right, he was with the Raiders in the past. He didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
His career is basically over at this point, right?
I did in one game with the Raiders and then was cut, and then he took all last year off. So
right. Yeah. I just don't see him being with the Raiders this season. I do think Devin White makes the roster.
I agree.
Landon Roberts, I think, makes the roster. I think those will be 3 veterans. Jalen Smith, I think, gets cut. I wouldn't be surprised if Tommy Eichenberg gets cut. Honestly,
okay.
Not that I don't like him. I think he has potential. He has upside, but he has to really develop being able to shed blocks and prove that he can play on the ends, in between the tackles.
Yeah,
right. And he didn't show us that he could do that last year. And he's also not this regime's guy, right? He doesn't belong to this.
Lindenberg is their guy, and he's essentially the same, has kind of the same skill set as Tommy Eichenberg.
Right. Now, I do like the fact that Gaynor and Lindenberg can both play on the line of scrimmage. They're not pass rushers, but if you play base defense, you might want 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. Those 2 guys can come up and play on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
As can Jermaine Pratt, right? He's another guy that can kind of do that. Roberts can potentially do that as well. Tommy Eichenberg cannot do that, in my opinion, right? And it's going to be one of those things where, I don't think Eichenberg's just gone. I think they might look to bring him back to the practice squad.
Okay.
Given that he is under contract with the Raiders for 3 more seasons. Even Cody Lindenberg, I could see him getting cut and brought back to the practice squad, right?
7th round guy. It's not a shocker.
Right. It's not a shocker. Last year, the corner we took, I forget his name. We put him on the practice.
Oh, it's my MJ.
Right. Yep, exactly. So I wouldn't be shocked if that ends up happening with some of these guys. Now, in terms of battles outside of the linebacker positions, I think Dylan Parham starts. I think
I love this, Sanjit. We're going right to the trenches, baby. I love it. Let's go. Talk that talk, brother.
So you got Dylan Parham. I think he starts. I think Alex Kappa and DJ Glaze have the first opportunities, and I think both guys will most likely start for the Raiders as well.
Agreed.
The thing I'm looking forward to is, can the rookie 3rd-round picks overtake that job? Right? Can Charles Grant somehow beat DJ Glaze? Can Caleb Rogers somehow beat Alex Kappa? Mm-hmm. Right? But I don't think it's going to happen. But I think those are the only real battles on the offensive line.
Okay. I heard that Mumford was getting some first-team reps at left guard as well early on. I mean, the pads aren't on yet, so it doesn't really mean anything.
Right. But that was after Dylan Parham apparently got hurt.
Yes.
Which is another concern that I have, right? Or is Dylan Parham even going to make the roster? If he misses even 1 snap because he's hurt, I see us cutting him because he hasn't been consistent. He's always hurt. And I think this regime values guys that are hurt, right? Or guys that are available, I should say.
Yeah, available. Yeah.
And
they like Meredith a lot too. They love Jordan Meredith. The versatility provides. You can play all up and down that O-line. So Parham, that's interesting because we talked about it yesterday. I know Hondo had mentioned something along the lines of there's a market for him. I don't know where that market is. I mean
he's a good player, right? He's not like a superstar, right? Nor is he on that superstar track either. I don't think he ever becomes that.
Yeah.
We've seen guys like, for example, Damian Lewis, where he came into the Seahawks. He was like a 4th-round pick. He was good. He was kind of hurt, but he put it together year 3. He's an elite guard in the NFL. I don't think Parham is on that type of trajectory. Okay. I don't know if there's a market for him. I'm sure some team will potentially bring him in, right, if they need an offensive lineman. But you gotta be able to play an entire season, right? You gotta be available, because the worst thing you can do is say, hey, we have I don't know, Will Putnam as our backup offensive lineman. Now we got to put him in because our starter's out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I do like Jordan Meredith, and I like the fact that Jordan Meredith is our 2nd-string center right now, right? Because he's gonna make the roster.
For sure.
Not on, because the fact that he's our 2nd-string center and he can play guard as well. Meredith was initially taking 1st-team snaps him and Parham were kind of swapping out.
Yep.
And then they put Munford in as the number. He was running with the second team unit at guard, but he was a full-time guard. He apparently hasn't played tackle at all. So, it's going to be interesting because some of those guys are going to make it while other guys will end up getting cut.
Yeah.
But think about it. Just between Parham, Kappa, Rogers, Meredith, Munford, that's 5 guards right there.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to carry 5 guards. Will Putnam made the roster last year. He's another guy that could be a guard center option.
I like that guy. Has a nasty streak out of Clemson.
Right.
I like that kid. I do. Hey, Hug, I like that, man. The Seahawks can use some line. Hey, why don't we attach a mid-round pick and send Parham out there and give us Tyrie Wilson? I've been wanting Tyrie Wilson in the silver and black. So I know it's not going to happen. He's on an expiring contract, so he's going to need a new deal. But we can use another starting caliber corner. So and that's Pete Carroll's guy. But that's interesting, Hug. Salute to my guy, Hug, man. So with this Kolton Miller situation, since we're talking about the O-line right now, do you think that there's going to be some type of resolution soon, Sanjit? Because once again, this guy, when healthy, is one of the better, left tackles in football. I know he's not a Pro Bowl guy. I know he's not an All-Pro guy, but he's one of the more underrated tackles in football. When he's healthy, he is good to go. We can both agree on this. Grant is not going to be ready to go in year 1. I don't want to see Munford at left tackle again. I don't want to see this shuffle where they're trying to figure out what's going on because Kolton potentially holds out. What's your thought process on this whole Kolton Miller situation? My idea was give him a 2-year extension. That 3rd year, you're hoping that Charles Grant can kind of hit that corner. Maybe he is your left tackle. I don't know of the future, or you can go get one in next year's class. But give him a 2-year deal. I mean, he's saying everything right now, right? He's like, I want to be a Raider. This is all I know. One of the last Oakland Raiders left. What's your whole take on this whole situation? And do you think that there's going to be a resolution anytime soon?
I think Colton Miller is going to become a free agent. I think he's going to leave the Raiders. I don't know why. I feel like it's going to end up happening. And I say that because Jackson Powers Johnson was asked, I think he was doing the Max Crosby podcast. Mm-hmm. I think he was asked about some of the offensive linemen, like, give us your thoughts on some of these guys. And with Colton, he said something like, hey, Colton Miller needs to have a big year this year. Like, he has to have a big year, right? He implied that if he has that year, he could potentially get a contract on the other side of it. Mm-hmm. My thing is this, right? Colton Miller is cheaper right now than at the end of the season, right? Colton Miller is going to be 29 years old when the season starts.
Yes.
For an offensive tackle, 29 is still considered young, right? Because offensive tackles can play until they're like 35.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. My thing is if Colton Miller plays this year for the Raiders and he doesn't get that extension, there's a team out there that's going to say, hey, we'll pay you $30 million or whatever it is, right? We'll make you one of the highest 3 or 4 paid offensive tackles. He might not be a top 3 or 4 tackle, but they'll pay him like one. Yeah. That's just what it is.
We seen Trey Smith, a guard. He's the highest paid guard in football. We watched Robert Hunt go to Carolina and get that kind of money. So you're definitely right.
Something tells me if the Raiders don't lock in Colton Miller, if they haven't already locked him in, something tells me they're going to end up. He's going to end up just leaving the Raiders. Colton Miller, to me, he's a top 12 offensive tackle, overall offensive tackle.
Definitely.
Because you get the top 4 guys. Most people agree with who that is. From 5 through 15, you can have your own opinion of which guys ranks where. And you're not wrong. What's the difference between Colton Miller and Brian O'Neill? Right? Some people think Brian O'Neill's like the 5th or 6th best overall offensive tackle. Yeah. I would say Colton Miller's better, right?
I agree.
It's just one of those things where, if the Raiders don't extend Colton Miller, which I don't think that's happening before the season starts, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. Real quick.
I don't know why Colton Miller that's disrespectful to him.
Yeah, I mean, there's no guaranteed money left on his contract, and to even see him still in the building and being a part of off-season, the workouts and it's crazy to me to see that a veteran, he's kind of playing his hand a little bit, Sanjay. He's like, I think he needs to realize he holds all the cards here. Hey, you guys want to play a rookie year 1 at left tackle to protect your quarterback on the blind side? Be my guest. Right. Be my guest. And then what? We're stuck. And I'm looking at this situation completely different without Kolton Miller. I am my optimism goes from being up here to being a lot less, it's coming down a lot more. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. But we'll see. Hopefully, there's a resolution here soon. Salute the Deuce. AOC's Sweet Feet Mumford are still in it. Thank you, TB12. Salute to my guy on the $2 donation. Salute to my brother as well. And salute to everybody that's pulling up from Wasted's live stream over there with JT the Brick, man. I appreciate you guys for pulling up and hanging out with us. Just want to say it's great to see Sanjit and his takes on the show, and always great to see Graphk dropping that content. Thanks. I think we can get Sanjit to say it our way. That'll be dope. Take care, y'all. Salute to my brother Hug in the building as well. Give me some more camp battles that you're excited to see here, Sanjit, because I know you have a few. I knew you were going to that guard spot for sure. But is there any other spots? We talked about the running back group. You did talk about the safety room previously before. Is there any other room, any other battles that you're looking forward to?
It's not really a battle. I think Malcolm Kuntz is better than Tyrie if he's healthy, but he's not healthy, right? And I don't know if he's going to be fully ready when the season actually comes around. I want to see which guy comes out there with the first team unit and which guy starts the game out there essentially, right? I don't know if you remember this, but when Antonio Pierce first took over for the Raiders, Tyrie Wilson basically became a bench player at the edge position, right?
Yeah.
Malcolm Kuntz became the full-time starter.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyrie was basically – he played defensive tackle more than he did on the edge once Kuntz essentially took over. And my question for you would be, does Tyrie Wilson look good enough where you say, hey, we're going to roll with this guy even ahead of a guy like Charles Snowden or one of these other guys, right? Because Tyrie Wilson is not a John Spytek pick.
No, not at all.
There's zero tie with one. Like, what if Tyrie Wilson is like the fifth best edge player? Could the Raiders even just cut this guy altogether?
I don't think they do. I think that, former top 10 pick, right? So you have the option of picking up the fifth-year option here soon if he can get it together. Last year, we've seen some signs of life from him. He did play the run pretty at a high clip,
100%.
Right? He looked good in the interior. When I think he looked a lot better at defensive tackle, might I add. And I think he'll get some burn there this year, especially with Christian Wilkins kind of being up in the air at this time. Right. But I think they're going to let this third year play out. What do they always say? We always say this, Sanjay, every one of our shows. The third year, you have to give these rooks that third year to see where they are,
100%.
right? And this is the year for him to get it together. He said everything right in the offseason. He said that he's worked on his body, he's worked on his footwork. So I think that Tyrie's going to be on this roster. I don't think that they're going to give up on a former top 10 pick that quick. I know that Josh McDaniels and Ziegler were the ones to bring him in, but once again, we're already thin with that group. I like Snowden as well. I don't know. He's a guy to me, and this may be a shocker to you. He's a fringe roster cut to me, because what if Ja Joyner or one of these other guys, these young guys from this regime come in and show that they can get it done in training camp? Right. Snowden did have a situation last year with the DUI that it kind of just got swept under the rug. And I'm not trying to bring it back up and shit on him. Life happens, right? I understand that was a major, major mistake from him. And I guess they're past it. But once again, this is Pete Carroll in the building now. There's a different set of guys running the show. Yeah, he's back, but will he make this team? I don't know. And once again, if you bring in the likes of a Von Miller or a Jadeveon Clowney or one of these guys that are available in free agency, Snowden can be the odd man out. I don't see in any world where Tyrie will not be on this roster, me personally. And if he's not, I think it's a trade bait. Maybe they use him to go, tie him to a draft pick and go bring another player in that they value over him. I don't know. But I think that Tyrie will be on this roster. Yeah.
With Tyrie, if year 3 is the year, we should see it within the first. We should see it in training camp, honestly.
Yes.
We should see it right away, because he's not going to get better from training camp, by week 15. He's not going to develop, right? He is what he is, which we'll see in training camp.
Agreed.
It's going to be interesting to see if because going after this year, going into next year, Kuntz is probably not going to be here, right? And then at that point, is Tyrie Wilson the guy? Or is he not, right? So we'll see what ends up happening. Another battle that I'm actually very excited about is going to be not necessarily between Trey Tucker and Dante Thornton, but who's our second best wide receiver after Jacoby Myers?
Yeah.
Right? And because, you know, we're not going to run just one wide receiver out there. Most of our sets are going to be 2 wide receivers, if not 3.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Who's going to be the wide receivers on the field? Right. And then if it is Trey Tucker, like, you know, is he going to have 600-700 yards if he gets those targets? Mm-hmm. Is he going to be, you know, is he going to have drop issues, right? Which we know he had in the past. Mm-hmm. So I want to see which wide receivers step up, right? I want to see which guys step up for Geno Smith.
I got Tucker on the boundary starting. I have Dante Thornton starting on the boundary, and I have Jacoby starting in the slot. I think that they'll work Jack Besh in, you know, once again with this hold out with the whole second round thing in the NFL going on. He may miss some time in training camp, and that's definitely going to set him back a little 100%. Bit. Sanjit, you know this. These young kids, they need to get in there in day one and get their feet wet immediately. So this may set him back a little bit. And Jacoby, I love the way he operates out the slot, and I think with all that speed on the boundary with Dante Thornton and Trey Tucker, that can be fun to watch because it's gonna open up the middle of the football field for Brock, for Mayer, for Jacoby. It's also going to help the run game. I'm excited to see. I just want to see if there's another guy on this depth chart that can step up, because I'm looking at this group, and honestly, man, the back end of this group is not that sexy. Pause if necessary, Sanjit. I know Kyle Phillips is a guy that Chip loves, former UCLA guy, can add some value in the special teams unit as well. Maybe he's a guy that can find one of those roster spots, and we can get him, you know, moving and shaking it. Colin Johnson, we talked about him, 6'6", big body guy. Sakari Franklin is a guy that I'm watching very closely at training camp. UDFA out of Illinois, love that kid. And then there's some other names that, you know, you just never really know. These UDFAs, the Keyshawn Smith, the Keytron Jackson, Tommy Malot, we talked about him as well. Alex Bachman, I don't think he's going to make this roster. Shedrick Jackson. But yeah, I don't. The weird thing with this is it's like we don't really have a wide receiver one. Brock is essentially our wide receiver one, and Jacoby is that high-end wide receiver 2 for us. So I don't know, man. I'm really watching closely. I think that the battle for those last couple spots in the wide receiver room, it's very intriguing because I honestly don't know. I think Kyle Phillips has a leg up, though, because of his time with Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Colin Johnson's almost he's almost essentially being brought in because you need a wide receiver one. Yeah. And you know, Thornton's expected to be the guy, right? Mm-hmm. Because he's tall, he's lengthy, he can catch those jump balls. He can beat press coverage, right? Trey Tucker might struggle with press coverage a little bit.
Agreed.
And I almost feel like Johnson's kind of brought in to either teach Thornton or to take those wide receiver one snaps.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'll also say this, you know, your wide receiver one does not need to be your best wide receiver.
No, right? Not at all.
Times your wide receiver one is not your best wide receiver, right? It's just the guy that lines up on the line of scrimmage. If he gets pressed, he can beat press. He's reliable if you need to throw a jump ball up to that guy, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting season, right? Because the Raiders have so many different players, and it's kind of unique.
Yeah.
I'm excited as hell for this season, man.
I am too, man.
For the first time, we have a good quarterback since we've gotten rid of Carr, right? So at least we'll be consistent going into this season as opposed to the last 2 seasons.
Salute to Sha Lee, man, gifting 10 OLV Raiders Network memberships. I appreciate you, my brother. Salute to you. Salute to all the new members. CGR gifting 5 as well. And then also my brother Hug D's. You guys are the goats. Sanjit, do you have a membership over on your channel?
I do, but I've never seen like gifted memberships. I've never seen that before. That's just cool though.
Well, if you guys can, man, make sure you guys become a member also on Sanjit's side of things. I always applaud my brother. He's one of the GOATs in this Raider ecosystem that we call content creation. So make sure you guys become a member. He always puts out quality A1 content, man. Make sure you go over there and hit it as well. If you guys want to become members and missed out on these, hit the link. It's pinned up top. And salute to Just Raiders, baby, as well on becoming a member, and Marcus Webb gifting 5 as well. My people going crazy gifting the memberships. I appreciate you. This is going to help me do more membership only lives. We like to do those, get the people involved, and talk about more than just football in those as well. So DeMarcus, I appreciate you, man, so much. Do you think that there's going to be here we go. Look, so to Shali gifting 10 Las Vegas Raiders Network memberships.
Shout out to you. I don't even know what that means. So what does that mean?
So that means that you have 10 new members on your channel.
Okay.
And they'll have the option at the end of the month to renew if they choose to.
Okay.
Or they don't. But either way, Shali, we appreciate that, brother. That means
I appreciate that
a lot to us, man.
Thank you.
Definitely. Is there some other the quarterback room is intriguing to me because we were talking about this before the show got cut off. That quarterback 2 spot, preseason's coming up. I know you kind of said, do you think that Aiden will be playing? Cam Miller's going to be playing a ton. We also talked about potentially bringing in a veteran quarterback off the streets to kind of go out there and just give us some reps so we can escape preseason unscathed. Do you think in any world, and this was one of my hot takes, and I talked about it before, that Cam Miller can steal that quarterback 2 spot? I know he's a 6th-round guy. Once again, I said, Tom Brady, he was excited about him. Chip Kelly's excited about him. You think there's in any world, he's a lot more athletic than Aiden O'Connell as well. Even though Aiden has won games and lost games as a starter, he has a lot more experience at the NFL level. What's your take on that group outside of Geno? We know he's the number 1 guy regardless.
If Chip Kelly comes in here and he's running an offense, you would think that he would want the same type of starter and backup, right? Like similar type of styles, right? Mm-hmm. And Geno Smith and Aiden O'Connell could not be more different.
Yes.
Right. But Cam Miller is a lot closer to Geno Smith.
A lot.
But with that also being said, we also got to realize Aiden O'Connell is a good backup, though. Right? He's
for sure.
Really good backup.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at free agent quarterbacks. There's guys like Tyler Huntley available, Desmond Ridder, right? That could potentially fit a little bit more. But even then, like Aiden O'Connell is still technically in his 3rd year.
Yeah.
And I think Aiden O'Connell is going to play 10 years in the NFL. He might never start, but he'll be a long-term backup. Definitely. And I wonder if, making him like QB3, like we're not going to announce a 2nd and 3rd quarterback, right? It's either the starter and that's kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the Raiders could potentially bring in a guy like Tyler Huntley or Desmond Ridder. There's a couple other quarterbacks. Carson Wentz is technically available.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the Raiders could potentially bring in one of these other quarterbacks and then trade away Aiden O'Connell. That could make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And we talked about New England being an option because of Josh McDaniels.
Connection. Absolutely.
They moved Joe Milton to the Dallas Cowboys. Right. That would make some sense. I would like Tyler Huntley, man. Bring Snoop in. I think that would be an interesting a guy. He definitely has a lot more similar skill set to Geno. Right. And, he was a Pro Bowler. I know that doesn't mean anything because honestly, he shouldn't have been a Pro Bowler that year. But I didn't know he was still available. I thought he was already locked on somebody's.
Right.
Yeah, I had no clue. What's your take on the whole Cam Miller thing? Do you think that he'll be our long-term solution at the quarterback spot or at QB1 or our QB2 of the future? Have you watched this tape? Do you have any real thought process behind him?
Yeah, definitely watched his tape. The one thing that sometimes slows quarterbacks down is processing and getting the ball out, right? Mm-hmm. In college, like you can sit back there, and this was the thing with Shedeur Sanders. They're slow processors, right? Mm-hmm. Like they see coverage. They need things to be really, really wide open for them to take a shot. And if they're not 100% certain, they'll stand in the pocket. And because it's college, things are slower. They have more time. They'll get to that check down. Mm-hmm. In the NFL, things speed up. You got to be faster. You got to be quicker. You got to put the ball in the tight coverages.
Agreed.
With Cam Miller, I saw him struggling similar to Shedeur Sanders, right? They're struggling with the same, which is tight coverage or reading coverage. They're not great. But I will say this, if you have a great offensive coordinator, you can, if there's a quarterback that's a little slow to process, you can basically overlook that, right? Or you can get over that, I should say.
Yeah.
If Kyle Shanahan, for example, brings in Cam Miller, he's going to open up, he's going to set the offense up where it's easy for him to be in that. So Chip Kelly can kind of do that as well, right? Like Chip Kelly's a good offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't Luke Getsy, right? It's a bad coach, doesn't know how to get guys open.
Terrible.
Chip Kelly's going to make it easy for Cam Miller, but he still has to read coverages. He still has to throw the football. I think I personally think Cam Miller at this point has more upside than Aiden O'Connell because we know what Aiden O'Connell
Agreed.
is, right? Aiden O'Connell is a really, really good backup, but I think that's all he kind of is, right? I don't think Aiden O'Connell is a starting caliber quarterback. Not saying I think Cam Miller is, but Cam Miller has shown us that he's not a starting caliber quarterback yet, right? So the potential is still there. So I want to see him just develop and see what he can do over the next year or two.
Definitely. If you had to call it now, though, it's going to be Geno and Aiden, one, two?
I think so. I think it makes the most sense, right? Okay. If the goal this year is to win the Super Bowl, and quarterbacks can get hurt,
Yes.
Aiden O'Connell's a better backup today than Cam Miller is, right?
More
Cam
proven
Miller's
commodity.
ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think keeping Aiden just kind of makes sense, right? He's under contract. Unless you get like a 5th round pick, right, or something of value, doesn't make sense to move off of him at this point.
Former 4th round guy. He still has this year, next year on his deal.
Right.
So there's no real reason to rush off that contract.
Right.
So I agree. There's one room that's still very, very interesting. And we touched on this topic our last show, and I want to get your opinion on it. There's really no updates. I've seen a few people saying that something about Christian Wilkins. I don't know what it was, you guys. Somebody said something along the lines of he had the second surgery. I haven't heard. That's news to me. And he'd be ready for week. I don't know how reliable that is. But what's your take right now with what we have going on at the defensive tackle position? Because without Christian Wilkins there, this defensive line looks totally different, my brother. I mean, right now with Wilkins being questionable with the Jones fracture, you're putting a lot on Adam Butler's plate. You know, a guy that we just brought back on a new deal. It sounds as though Leki Fotu was getting some first-team reps out there early on before the pads come on. He's a veteran, played on a few teams, the Cardinals, Jets, Bay Area guy, you know, so very familiar with the Raiders. Jonah Lalu, a guy that I like a lot. I think we've talked about it before on our shows. JJ, I know you spoke on him in who else was it? Tonka Hemingway, saying that their tape, there's really not too much to be excited about. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Sanjit, but it was something along those lines of like, you know, I need to see more because the tape wasn't really that exciting. Is that somewhat what you were saying?
Yeah, absolutely. JJ more so, right? JJ's tape to me was not that good.
Okay.
Honestly, I didn't think it was good at all, right? Like when I watched Byron Young, for example, coming out of Alabama, I thought he was terrible. Yeah. And you saw that on tape. Like he just didn't show much. Now he was athletic. Maybe that's why the Raiders drafted him, but he never developed. With Tonka Hemingway, he actually has some pass rush skills. Right. So there's at least some potential there, but he was never consistent.
Yeah.
Right. Matthew Butler had pass rush skills. Right. But it was never consistent. We'll see if Hemingway can develop, but like I don't think Hemingway starts this year for the Raiders. I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
He starts, right? Regarding Christian Wilkins, I heard that as well a couple days ago, or maybe a couple weeks ago. I think I read something somewhere that Christian Wilkins may have already had his second surgery. Okay. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but I think he was seen at, I think it was like Kyle Van Noy's party.
Yes. On. Him and Jonah Lalu were out there at the golf.
Right. Yeah, but he was out there as well. And I think they were saying that he got the second surgery, which is why he wasn't at, was it minicamp, which was the last thing they kind of had. Okay. I don't think he was seen at minicamp. Maybe it wasn't that exactly, but
maybe that's why he had the boot on this entire time. Wouldn't that be funny if he was just really because he hasn't said anything himself, Sanjit. Like we have not heard anything from Christian Wilkins in regards to his health. Right. There's no updates. There's no nothing. And then we hear rumors of him needing a second surgery and this and that. We don't know what's real, what's not. I mean, but I guess Hondo put it out there that he had the second surgery and that he'll be good to go by week 1. I don't know. I mean, it just depends on when that surgery happened. Because if it recently happened, there's no way in hell that you'll be ready to come back from a Jones fracture. A second, that takes time to come back from.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see which D tackles step up. So we could just assume Christian Wilkins is not playing for the Raiders.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going right now with it as well.
Yeah. I think he'll be out for, you know, he might be back at some point this season, but he definitely won't be back. I don't think he'll be there come week 1.
Okay.
Obviously, Adam Butler is going to be the guy that's going to start for sure.
Yes.
The other D tackle positions going to be interesting because I think Zach Carter, Fotu, as well as Laulu, I think all 3 of those guys took starting snaps for the Raiders at OTAs. And I think those 3 guys are going to be the guys to rotate in. I think they'll be part of the rotation. I think Butler's just a full-time starter.
Yeah.
I think that makes the most sense. Now, there's not a whole lot to be excited about because these guys haven't like went out there and proven that like we're Christian Wilkins or Adam Butler type of players.
Yeah.
Like with Adam Butler, he's always shown a ton of upside and potential.
Yes, for sure.
I'm just not, you know, the benefit for the Raiders is we do have Max Crosby, we have Malcolm Kuntz, we have Tyrie, who we know could be a really, really good football player.
Yeah.
And we have Adam Butler. So your D-line should be okay. It's not going to be terrible.
And Tyrie can kick inside, and he'll probably play there a ton this year, especially if he's not ready to go.
100%.
But you're right, though. Like some of these names, they kind of frighten me because, you know, we talked about the draft picks with JJ in Tonka, but then you look and you're like Tank Booker or UDFA, like, is he going to find a spot on this spot? Laki Tasi, who's never played a snap, in the NFL, who's an international porter player who's been getting reps at the guard spot. So where does he fit in the grand scheme of things? I know that Pete Carroll was praising him and saying that, like, when you see him, you're just like, wow, you don't see shit like that a lot. You know what I mean? So he's an interesting player. Sanjay, what's your take on Laki Tasi? Because there's no film on him. There's no tape. Like, where do we go off of with him? All we can do is say, wow, he's 6'6", 300 and something pounds. I mean, what's your expectations for him? Is it just kind of like a wait and see approach?
Yeah, I mean, I watched some of his highlights of him playing
rugby,
and I mean, to be that big and to move like that, it's impressive. But he's brand new to football, right? So I think it's one of those things where he'll be a guard. I don't think he goes back to defense at all. He'll be a guard for the Raiders. He'll develop there. I don't think he's going to play this year at all. Right? He'll play in preseason for sure.
Yeah.
And we'll see what he becomes down the line. I always say this, as an offensive lineman, if you want to be a great offensive lineman, especially as a guard, you got to have two things. You got to have good technique, right? You got to be able to be fast and quick and reach and get in front of people. That's part of having good technique. And then you got to be strong, right? And he has the strong part of it already checked. Even the movement, right? Like the technique part of it, like he has the movement down, right? He just hasn't played football, so like he hasn't reach blocked, right? But like he has the potential, right? It was kind of like Jordan Mailata when he came in, right? Late round pick,
Philly
develops.
He's the kid in Philly, right?
He's in Philly, right?
Oh, he's a baller. Yeah,
he's one of the better tackles in my opinion in the NFL.
Yes,
I think that's the trajectory Tasi will be on, if anything, right?
Do you trust what the people we have in the building to be able to unlock that? The Brendan Carrolls, the Joe Philbins, and the Chip Kellys of the world to be able to bring it out of them.
I think Joe Philbin's a great coach. I agree. I trust him. Is he an offensive line coach for the Raiders? I know
he's Coach a senior advisor, I believe, something along. He's like the Rob Ryan of like the offensive side of the football.
As long as if he focuses on the offensive line, I'd be happy, right? He knows what he's doing. He's one of the best O-line coaches out there, right?
I agree. The O-line got better when he took over last year.
Exactly. So I would be comfortable with him developing those guys. The guy I want to see is Charles Grant. That's the guy that I'm most excited about.
You've been high on him forever. You were doing videos. I love it.
I loved his tape, man. Like, it's not like, and I do this, right? Like, I'll watch guys in college and then I'll make comparisons. Like, hey, this is kind of what I saw of certain guys, right? Colton Miller, when he was in college, he was super, super raw. And he was skinny. He was a lot smaller than what he is now.
Yes.
But over the years, he's gotten stronger. He's added on weight. He's just developed, right? And, Charles Grant's not necessarily in that same boat exactly. I think Charles Grant's probably a lot stronger than Colton Miller was when he came out. But Charles Grant's technique was very similar to me what I watched in college of Colton Miller when he was coming out. Now, Grant might be a little bit worse in terms of the technique. Like, you can tell this guy's never been coached by, like, a D1 coach. Right.
William and Mary, small school. Yeah.
Right.
You can see it in his arms because he has long arms too, Sanjay, right?
Right.
But they're like really thin. Like he needs to put more muscle off.
But the thing with him is like he was physical in college, right? Like he had that physical tendency in college, right? I love what he is like in terms of a prospect, but I think it's more than just prospects. Like we could look at like Jared Hufford or Caleb Rogers and say, hey, oh yeah, these are good prospects. They have upside and potential. It's different with Charles Grant, right? Charles Grant has like, he's super fast. He's one of the fastest offensive tackles. I think he's already one of the fastest in the NFL. Yeah. Right. Because he's so fast. I think I agree what that was, but he had this like crazy, I think it was like faster than Jamar Chase or something like that. It was like a shuttle or it was one of those things where people are like, the way he moves and just the quickness is like it's really, really, really impressive. Right.
He had a 4.95 shuttle.
Okay. I don't know if that's fast or not, but like I don't know if he did it at the combine. I think it was it was before that.
Got you.
But like you can see it in his tape too. Like he's just explosive, he's fast. And like with Mumford, and I'll use Mumford as an example because it's an easy comparison. Everybody can see this, right? With Mumford as an offensive tackle, you always saw he was slow, right? You can always see that.
Yeah.
His feet weren't quick. He wasn't explosive out of his stance.
Yeah.
That's not true with Charles Grant. Charles Grant's super explosive, super quick, moves really, really well, but he will struggle early on because he's not perfect in terms of technique.
Yeah.
He doesn't know where his hands need to land when he's pass blocking. But he's a good run blocker already, I think. So, like, I think Charles Grant's a prospect that has so much upside. And if Charles Grant was able to go to the Senior Bowl, I think he would have been a first-round pick. I really do think that with him. Like, his tape was absolutely incredible. And I'm really excited to see what he develops into. I really do like his tape. But
I'm excited to see Hufford as well when come training camp.
Right. He's
I want to see what this kid
man.
can do. Yeah, he's a strong dude, bro. And he could potentially find a roster spot on this team, man. Like, Jared Hufford's one of the ones. Give me some players, man, that you think can be some, training camps right around the corner. Maybe is there some surprise camp casualties that you're like, you thought, that most people may think is going to make this roster and may not. We talked about Zamir White. I don't think that that's a surprise at this point, coming off that bad year last year. Is there any other names that you can think of that you're like, that can be surprise, camp casualties come camp?
I think Dylan Parra.
Ooh, okay.
Possible, but I think that's more so if he's not healthy, right?
Yeah.
If he's not healthy, I think he could be cut. I wouldn't be surprised if like Landon Roberts or Devin White get cut, right? Although, if we brought these guys in, but that was before Jermaine Pratt became a free agent,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And then we don't know what like Amari Gaynor might develop into or what Cody Lindenberg could be, right?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if like Devin White or Landon Roberts, one of those guys ends up getting cut. Now I don't think they will, but like I wouldn't be overly shocked.
Yeah.
And with Aiden O'Connell, like I hate saying this. I wouldn't be super, super shocked if it happened. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be super shocked if it did happen.
If Cam Miller goes out there in preseason and shows these guys something, and once again, I told you, I think on one of our previous shows that I covered him at the Shrine Bowl, and I wasn't impressed by Cam. Once again, he was playing with a bunch of players that he had he has no history with, and it was kind of tough watching him try to build that chemistry in a few days. I didn't really see, but if he goes out there and balls out in preseason, bro, you could be right. I mean, Aiden could be on the way out because you got a guy on a rookie deal, inexpensive. Aiden's going to need to get paid next year. And what does that money look like? I mean, it'll be paid backup money.
Right. But that's still a lot.
Yeah.
High-end backup.
Yeah. Facts. So, and I think Landon's going to be on this roster. I think if it was between those two guys, I think we talked about it. Jalen's out of here. And I think that it would be, Devin White, regardless if he has that connection with Tom Brady and Spytech. Kappa's a former teammate with the Bucs. It's not a foregone conclusion. You can look at his contract, and it's like there's no guaranteed money, I think, on the books with him. I think maybe like $100,000 or something like that. Something nasty. So I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't make this team. But what is there anybody in the secondary that you may be shocked about? Like any player that, because we're already thin with in the cornerback group. I mean, would there be any shockers there? Would you think they would potentially move on from a DCAM, or if Jacorian's still nursing that shoulder, do you think they can move on?
You said that, man, not me. All right, you said that.
Okay.
I was about to say that too. I wouldn't be shocked if Jacorian Bennett, we like Jacorian, all of us really like him, right? But if our scheme is truly changing this season, and we should also keep this in mind, there's a good chance Patrick Graham might not be here next season. This final season with the Raiders.
Yeah.
There's a chance that Jacorian Bennett just doesn't fit the scheme, right? The fact that he was our starter for the last two seasons, going into each of the two seasons, right? He was starting essentially as a rookie. And then this year he's now running with the number 2s. And I know some people would say he has like the shoulder or whatever.
Yeah.
Then why is he even practicing? In that case, just let him sit out if it's that bad, right? I think Jacorian Bennett is better than Cameron Richardson, but Richardson also does have the size profile.
Yes.
Right. So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting training camp.
Right? We got to see if Stokes can get through healthy as well, because I mean, once again, his knock has been he's always dealing with some type of injury.
Right.
Former first round guy, went to Green Bay, was great at Georgia, loved his tape at the collegiate level, and then after that nice rookie season, he just kind of went down a dark road. So that would be a name too, though. I wouldn't be shocked if Stokes didn't make this team.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be shocked with that either, right? Like, what if Jacorian Bennett's just a lot better?
Yeah.
And what if we don't I mean, I don't know, right? But like all the reports right now are that we're going to be going to like a heavy cover 3.
Yes.
We're going to be playing the run first, right? Like it'll be heavy cover 3. We'll be putting, safeties at the nickel corner position, right? We'll just be a heavy defense.
Yep.
And we're going to tell teams to we're going to play back, right? Like our corners will be playing off coverage, right? So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting season. I don't know how else to say it. I think this year, I think the Raiders make the playoffs, right? I do think coaching matters so much, and we have a good coach for the first time that I think could get us over the top, right?
Yeah. I mean, before it was always like potential.
Right.
AP, the rah-rah Raider guy, and then Josh McDaniels righting his wrongs from the time in Denver. We're always like, okay, maybe. With Pete Carroll, it's kind of like a damn near foregone conclusion that we're going to be competitive at the bare minimum. What are you most excited about tomorrow? The rookies report the 17th. They're going to get a chance to go out there and get things rolling at Henderson. Is there any UDFAs or maybe some rookies outside? I mean, Ashton Jeanty is the easiest, name to mention. Any guys that you're excited about to see go out there and get active tomorrow?
Well, first I want to see if Jack Best shows up.
Yes,
right? That's gonna be the first thing.
I know, right? Sign the waiver, Besh. Sign the waiver.
I mean, the Raiders should just give him. I don't understand. Like, if you draft a guy in the second round, how often do second round picks get released before, before they finished at least 3 seasons?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. It's just crazy to me that they're fighting over I don't even know what a second round pick contract is. Like, what's Jack Besh's overall money? Like,
I think it was. Let me see. I want to look that up real quick. We talked about it the other day. What would a second round, what does contract look like? Projected $7.56 million with a $2.14 million signing bonus.
7.5. That's
4-year deal. 4-year deal, 7.56.
Yeah, that's in total.
Yeah, in total.
What are they complaining about? $7 million over 4 years is nothing.
No, it's nothing.
Right. That's crazy.
And Jack Best is not a guy that's dealt with like a ton. He doesn't have an extensive injury history and stuff like that. So it's not like you're like, I need to make sure my money is all here and right now, because he's essentially been healthy. So, but Walker, yes, you're right. Gaynor definitely did get to the passer. I think he was more on the edge at Florida State, and then he came a linebacker at North Carolina. Am I right, Sanjit, or my timeline a little off?
Well, Gaynor definitely played on the edge.
Yes.
Even for the Raiders, he looked good on the edge. I think against the Niners in preseason, he made a couple of plays off the edge.
When you see him in person, physically, dude, he is a specimen, dog. Me and Stu is 6'4". We're on the sideline in Cincinnati, and he looked at Amari Gaynor and was like, who the hell is that? I'm like, this dude is he's just yoked. So Walker, I would definitely love to see him get a chance to get after the passer as well. But I want to see Melo Dotson. I know I keep saying his name over and over. I want to see what he looks like out there at training camp. He's still going to be against all odds, but the good thing is he plays a position where we can use some depth there. And really, we don't really have any starters at this point. Like usually you go in and you're like, I know who's going to start for us at the cornerback position, at least one.
Right.
We don't know. Can Jacorian be a starter? Who's to say? Can Darian Porter be a starter in year one? Hearing great things, but he's a rookie. Who's to say? Eric Stokes, I don't know. Like Melo Dotson might be able to go in and show some things. And I want to see what some of these UDFA, these receivers, can do as well, because once again, that back end of that room there's a lot of question marks surrounding that back end of that wide receiver group. Expectations with Jeanty. I mean, the pads come on. He's not going against the vets yet. We still have about 5 more days before the vets report. What's your expectations with Jeanty out there? Just the rooks. I mean, anything for him?
I think with Ashton Jeanty, I think, just kind of getting back into football shape is going to be the big thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know what they're going to do before the veterans actually get out there. Like, are they going to run plays? All right. They might have, but will they have 22 guys to run plays?
I know. Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure it's not going to be just rookies, right? I'm sure some of the second-year players or practice squad guys can potentially show up as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, right? But
I mean, how do you go through installs without?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I think a lot of it will be just ramping it up, right? Like maybe you hit each other, right? Like a running back and linebacker, and not like full speed, but like, just wrap up and, you kind of just started and
Working on contact a little bit.
just a little bit, kind of get it ready. Do you know what the date of the first preseason is? Is it August 10th, 9th?
Is it I could have swore it was the 12th, but I could be wrong. You could be right. Let me look. We got Seattle, right? In Seattle.
Right.
So let me see. We have them. It is schedule. We have them. Oh, the 7th. You're right. 7th.
So
Damn,
we
right
have from right now, we have 14. We have like 21 days until the first preseason game.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting, we'll see how they kind of ramp it up, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited for preseason. I'm excited for training camp. Ashton Genty, you think he plays in preseason at all?
I think he'll probably get a little burn, and then they'll probably hold him out the last 2 games. Maybe we see him in week 1, and then we're kind of like, don't go out there. Don't even put him in a situation where he can get hurt. I want to see more. I want to see Dylan. I want to see Dylan out there get a ton of burn in preseason. I want to see Zamir as well. I know he's kind of fell out of favor with Raider Nation, and rightfully so. He had a really down year last year before the injury, but I want to see what Dylan and Zamir can do. And can Sincere stay healthy? If Sincere can stay healthy, he can definitely be an asset for that running back group. But preseason wise, I definitely want to see Gainer. I want to see Gainer go out there. I want to see him. I don't want to see, for some reason, Ja Joyner, man. I don't know why, but I just have this real nagging suspicion that he's going to be a stud for us, Sanjit. He's going to be a guy that's going to be like, wow, how the hell did he go undrafted?
Yeah, so I'm excited to watch him as well, for sure.
Yeah, man. Salute the Raider War Report. I'm excited to see Grant. If he shows out preseason, I think Miller will be gone next year. Salute the Raider War Report. I mean, hopefully, man, he can show signs of life, and then you won't have to, pay Kolton a shit ton of money. But the thing is, man, Kolton is deserving of a new deal. The 100%. Thing is, what kind of money is it? If he's asking for a little bit north of $20 million, I can see that. If he wants number 1, top 5 left tackle money, Sanjit, then you got to pump the brakes a little bit and say, you know what, maybe he can just play out this last year in this deal and we'll go another way. Or they allow him to just test the market next off season, see where it is, and then maybe they can double back. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully, man, Grant can do that. But I don't want to see him be forced out there in year 1. I know you're not that high on DJ Glaze, right?
It's not that I'm not high on him. I think he has a ton of upside and potential for sure. I think the only thing I questioned with was his movement. But I think his movement's good enough, right? And I think he could definitely be a franchise guy, but I want to see him actually prove it. I'm higher on DJ Glaze going into this year than I was on Thayer Munford.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Obviously, I want to see if DJ Glaze can take that second step, the second year leap.
Yes.
We'll see if he can really have success. This scheme is also going to be different than last year's scheme, right? I think we'll be 5-man pass protecting a lot more. So we'll see what ends up happening this year, right?
Is there even a battle at right tackle at this point? Mumford's getting some left guard looks. I know he'll
think so.
I mean, is Dalton Wagner, is he going to be battling?
He'll kind of be the wild card, right? Because he is technically our third tackle. And we're not going to roll in with just 2 tackles, right? We got to have a third tackle.
Yeah.
And by third, we're not going to roll in with the rookie being the third tackle.
No.
Right. So we'll probably keep 4 tackles. So I think Wagner ends up on the roster, right? Or at worst. But the thing with Wagner is he didn't look that good last year in preseason.
No.
Right? But hopefully year 3 he looks better.
The other guys, what we have, is it Gotti Aziz or in Parker Clements? I think those are the other guys. The other options kind of at the back end of the tackle depth chart. So, Dalton Wagner, man, hopefully, man, I mean, dude's a monster. You watch him at Arkansas, man, the dude's a mammoth.
Right.
So, but we'll see, man. Tomorrow, you guys, once again, and salute to my guy, Zon. I want to put this out there. My apologies. I didn't mean to take it off screen. Gifting 5 OLV Raiders Network memberships as well. I appreciate you, my brother. Salute to everybody here in the chat hanging out with us. And once again, also, our apologies, you guys. I don't know what happened with the stream previously. We had to delete it and do another one. But thank you guys for your patience. And I think that we picked it up in the second half of this one, and it worked itself out anyway. So salute to David Zahn. I appreciate you, brother. If you guys want to become a member, also hit the link. It's pinned up top. Tomorrow, the rookies report, you guys. They will be in Henderson. The veterans will be in Las Vegas. reporting July 22nd. So stay tuned. We got football here, you guys. And once again, like our brother Sanjit said, we're days away from actual football, August 7th, right around the corner. Preseason, Seattle. Pete Carroll gets to return to his old stomping grounds, and we get an opportunity to see what some of these guys look like. Sanjit, you want to plug anything, man, on the way out? You want anything else you got on your mind, brother?
Nah, man, but we do have to do the lives way more. All right. I know last year we're like, we got to do one every week or every other week. And we didn't do anything during the season, right? We did a couple before the season. Yeah. But like this year, for sure, we got to get together at least every other week.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And you guys, hold us to that. At least every 2 weeks, you'll see me and Sanjit together. You'll get a mix also with Wasted coming in. We loved doing that show with all three of us last year. So make sure to keep an eye out on that. And on the way out, Hug says, here's the best part. Pete knows what he's looking for. And so does Chip and Spy Tech. Boys, we are out of all the past years. Really need to trust, believe, and send this team all the positive vibes, man. Salute to my brother Hug on the $10 special, man. Other than that, I got nothing left. We'll be live tomorrow. I know Sanjit is going to be pumping out content now with the rookies reporting tomorrow. So make sure you guys, for those who are living under a rock and are not subscribed to our guy, make sure you go over to Sanjit's channel, hit that subscribe button. You guys are missing out on some phenomenal content. Hit the subscribe on both channels. If you guys are watching on Sanjit's as well, we push out a lot of work over here also at OLV Raiders Network. So other than that, anything else on the way out, brother?
I'm good, man. Appreciate it.
My brother, man. Always good to see you. We will be back soon. Definitely, we're going to be doing this a lot more. Other than that, you guys, we'll see you probably on our channels tomorrow. Salute you guys. We are out.